So let's jump into chapter 3. You get the next day, early in the morning, they rise up, and look at what he says to the people in verse 5. Joshua said unto the people, "Sanctify yourselves, for tomorrow the Lord will do wonders among you." So he didn't say, get ready, I'm going to do wonders. I'm going to show you amazing miracles. No, it's the Lord is going to do wonders among you. It's going to begin tomorrow, so you need to be sanctified. And then look at verse 7. The Lord said unto Joshua, "This day will I begin to magnify thee in the sight of all Israel, that they may know that as I was with Moses, so I will be with thee."
This is an important theme in the book of Joshua. God wants it to be totally clear for all the Israelites that God has chosen this leader. And what you're going to see in the book of Joshua, these miracles, these powerful actions, is God trying to convince the people, you can trust my chosen leader to bring you to the promised land. And if you are listening to this chosen leader, you'll be safe. You will win.
So thus it begins. Let's go in. And he talks to the three tribes that have already taken possession of their land east of Jordan. So if we redraw our little map here, you have Reuben, you have Gad, and you have half of the tribe of Manasseh that have already taken possession of their land over here. And Joshua's telling this group, you can't leave the rest of the tribes to come and do this fighting. You've got to come help us. So everybody's agreed. We're all going to go. We're in this together. And the Lord is going to be with us. Verse 10. Now, notice what happens when the people get ready to cross over into the promised land. Verse 14. It came to pass when the people removed from their tents to pass over Jordan, and the priests bearing the ark of the covenant before the people, and as they that bear the ark were come unto Jordan, and the feet of the priests that bear the ark were dipped in the brim of the water, for Jordan overfloweth all his banks all the time of harvest, that the waters which came down from above stood and rose up upon an heap, very far from the city. You'll notice that Joshua didn't come up and say, Jordan, part. He simply had the priests bearing the ark step into the river, step into the water, and as soon as the soles of their feet were wet, then the water parted. This is a theme that we've seen before in the Old Testament. It's a theme we're going to keep seeing in the Old Testament, and we'll see it in the New Testament in the Book of Mormon. The Lord seems to love action. He seems to love effort and reward that effort. Now, there is nothing about putting your foot in water that would make it part. It's not their feet that made the Jordan River part. It wasn't even their effort that did that. It was the Lord that did that, but He didn't do it until they had taken that step of faith, that leap of faith, if you will, into the unknown. None of these people carrying this ark have ever experienced anything like this before. And honestly, if you sat down and said, okay, now I need you to walk forward with the most sacred object we have, go into the river.
At flood stage.
At flood stage, I can think of about a dozen really quick reasons why that would be a foolish idea. But I can think of one why it would be a really good idea. And it's because the Lord commanded it through His prophet. Let's go. And they received no witness until after the trial of their faith. Then the water parts, and they go and stand in the midst of where the river used to be running, and all of the children of Israel get to pass through. They've opened up the door, the veil, so to speak, has parted, and now the people can enter in on dry ground. It's not through mud, it's on dry ground, kind of like the Red Sea experience. Now all of them, this new generation, can kind of relate to the older generation and say, oh, maybe not as dramatic as the Red Sea, but that was amazing as they come into the promised land.
You see again this theme in the book of Joshua. The theme is this: exact obedience to the Lord. If we are exactly obedient to what He's asked, He will show Himself to be with us. In fact, the Ark of the Covenant is the emblem of God's presence with them.
So as they get the entire group onto the other side, then Joshua tells the people, go take one from each tribe, go back into the river and find a stone. They all do that, so you've got 12 stones, and they now make this memorial, this altar, or a cairn, if you will, to symbolize and to remember their passage through the Jordan River. I don't know what your memorials are going to be. I don't know what they're going to look like or be composed of. But I hope that individually and collectively as families, that you have things that remind you of the amazing things that God has done for you and for your loved ones. And I don't know what form they take, but it's that idea of don't just go through life, occasionally pause and reflect and look back on looking for the hand of the Lord in your life and His power of deliverance, His mercy, His long suffering, His grace, His loving kindness towards you. And that's what this pile of stones that previously had been under the river and meant nothing, now all of a sudden they mean something because they represent that connection with God and knowing that He's with them.